Hello everybody, this is section 11.3, which is solving radical equations. There's four simple rules. Number one is isolate the radical. Number two is square both sides to drop off the radical. Number three is solve for x. And number four is check for extraneous solutions. I'll explain what that means later. So you can see an example here. Radical x minus 3 is equal to 4. There's nothing outside of the radical sign on that side of the equation, whereas I can see another. I'll show you another one. There is the minus 3 or subtract 3 after the radical. So what you want to do is isolate it. If it's isolated, all you need to do is square both sides to drop the radical. So if I did this and I squared it, all this happens is when you square and have the radical, it just drops off. So you just have with x minus 3 is equal to 16. And then you should add 3 to both sides. And x is equal to 19, and that's your answer. And you can do a check. If you put the 19 back in for the x, you get square root of 19 minus 3 is 16. Square root of 16 is 4, which is equal to 4, and it works. Okay. Whereas if I had this problem here with the subtract 3 after the radical x, I need to isolate it, isolate the radical. So I need to plus 3 first to both sides. And then I'm left with radical x is equal to 7. And now the radical is isolated, and I can square both sides. So it just becomes x is equal to 49. If I did a check on that, and I put the 49 into the x, radical 49, which is 7, minus 3 is 4, and 4 is equal to 4, so it works out. Okay, this is going to be a quick video, and just so you can get through this. If there's a radical equal to a radical, and they're both isolated, you just square both sides. It drops it off, and you're left with 3x minus 2 is equal to x plus 6, and you solve it like how you solve any equation. I would subtract x first, and you get 2x minus 2 is equal to 6 plus 2, and you get 2x is equal to 8, divide by 2, and x is equal to 4. Do a quick check. If I put a 4 in here and a 4 in here, I get radical 12 minus 2, which is radical 10 on the right, is equal to radical 10, I'm sorry, on the left, which is equal to radical 10 on the right. So that works out. Okay. 2 more and we're done. So here's another equation. If I subtract 9 to isolate my radical, I get radical 4x is equal to negative 4. Once you get a radical equal to a negative number over here, like this negative 4, you stop and your answer is no so. There is no solution. Because nothing you can put in the x would make it, take the square root would make it equal to a negative number. Okay, so even if you put a negative 1 in there, negative 4 does not equal negative 4 because it doesn't work out. Okay, and this is where we're going to get our extraneous solution. If you have an x on the outside, or on the other side of the equation, when I square both sides, by the way, I'll do a quick example. If it happened to be 2x is equal to x plus 6 like this, when you square it, make sure you put parentheses around, because now you distribute this in and you get 4x squared is equal to x plus 6. Okay, so just a quick hint on if there was a 2x over there. Okay, so this becomes x squared is equal to x plus 6. I'm going to subtract x and 6 in one step just to save time, because I want to move this onto this side of the equal sign over here. Okay, so I get x squared minus x minus 6 is equal to 0. And now I can solve by factoring. And I get x minus 3, x plus 2. And I can use the zero product property. So x minus 3 is equal to 0. X plus 2 is equal to 0. I'm going to add 3 to both sides and get x is equal to 3. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides and get x is equal to negative 2. And here's where we need to test for extraneous solutions. If I put a 3 back into this equation, I get 3 is equal to radical 3 plus 6. 3 is equal to radical 9. 3 is equal to 3, which works. So x equals 3 is a solution. If I put a negative 2 in there, I get negative 2 is equal to radical negative 2 plus 6. Right away you can see the radical equals to negative doesn't work. because I already said that earlier. Or if you work it out this way, this is equal to 4. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4. And negative 2 is equal to 2, and that does not work. Okay, so negative 2, you cross it out because that is an extraneous solution. Okay, that means you solved it, you got it as an answer, but when you put it back in the original problem, it didn't work out. It was illegal. So it drops off as like an extra solution that doesn't work. Okay, that is section 11.3, solving radical equations. I hope you have a wonderful day.